Virtual reality's come a long way over the years. With improved technology and more powerful computers, you can almost feel like you are actually in a different place. Mostly this is used for entertainment and gaming, but is it possible that it can actually help you? Can it do more than just entertain you? The answer? Maybe. You see, the brain takes in information through our senses. Kind of like how your computer uses inputs like the keyboard, mouse, camera, internet. Some of the information gets stored there while some things get lost. Once it's in, you and the computer figure out what to do with it. Sometimes that information's used to do really cool and productive things, but other times it can lead to errors like viruses or other problems that arise. When problems come up, you don't generally go in and start diddling with the hard drive to fix them. You typically use those same inputs to interact with the computer and put in some new information. Well, a similar thing happens with people. We use our senses to get information into our brains. We all know the basic senses, but there are a lot more that people don't always talk about. We've got senses for balance and time and all sorts of other things to keep track of what's going on both inside your body and outside. And as it turns out, most of what you think and feel and do is constantly changing how your brain is wired. Kind of like how typing on your keyboard alters files on your computer's hard drive. So it stands to reason that if you could change the information that gets into your brain, over time you could change all sorts of things about how you think and feel and act. Now, of course, people have always done this. This is the essence of communication and education, but in a lot of ways it's hard to control what information gets into our brain because we don't always have that much control over the world around us. Other people have minds of their own. We can't control the weather or laws of physics, so we try to do the best that we can, but can be a bit limited in our influence on the world. Enter virtual reality. What virtual reality offers is an opportunity to have a lot more control over some aspects of the environment. There's a lot more influence over the physical space and what you see and hear, and you can even slow down or pause time to keep a certain event from happening. Virtual reality isn't confined by the same laws of physics as the reality. There are a lot of aspects of the world that still can't be simulated very well. It can still be hard to simulate smells and physical touch in real time, but sights and sounds can be pretty easily manipulated, and these are two of the primary ways that information gets into our brains. So what might this look like? First, let's take a look at phobias. There's research to suggest that virtual reality can be a really effective method at addressing phobias. But why is that? Phobias are typically strongly influenced by something called classical conditioning. For example, if you see a spider and feel scared, your brain can put those two things together. The next time you see a spider or even think about a spider or hear the word spider, your brain pulls up the same feeling of being scared. Now, you might not think about spiders very often, but each time you do, it's accompanied by this lovely feeling of fear. The more it happens, the stronger the connection gets until, after a while, spiders equal scared. Typical treatment for phobias involves gradual exposure. There are some variations on how you'd go about doing this, but the gist is that you are trying to break the connection between spiders and fear by very gradually introducing the idea of spiders while simultaneously practicing not being scared. The hope is that over time your brain will be able to recall feelings other than fear when presented with the idea of spiders. Eventually, this process can lead to being able to think about and see and maybe even touch or hold a spider without feeling afraid. Gradual exposure can be really effective at reducing phobias, but most people don't go through the process unless they're really motivated. That is, if the fears are keeping them from doing something really important in their life. That's because the whole process of overcoming a phobia means making yourself a little uncomfortable and facing rather than avoiding the thing you're afraid of. If you aren't really motivated to overcome that fear, it's hard to put yourself through that. The problem with many gradual exposure therapies is they still allow for some level of lack of control of the environment. So it's easy to control when you're showing pictures or videos of spiders, but once you graduate to having to introduce real spiders, they're a lot more unpredictable. The approach also relies on the person being able to recognize and self-report when they're starting to feel just a little anxious. The key is being able to experience a little bit of discomfort that you can learn to manage without pushing yourself to the point of, again, feeling afraid, which will just continue to reinforce the connection between spiders and fear. Spiders in a virtual environment can be created to start out looking really fake and gradually becoming more lifelike, or they could start out still or really slow and moving faster and faster. The bottom line is that technology like virtual reality has the potential to more specifically control the types of information that enters the senses and consequently into the brain. This allows for greater possibilities for shaping the connection connection between thoughts and feelings and action. So whether you're looking to get more comfortable in social situations, learning how to relax, or overcome a fear of flying or heights or even spiders, there are technologies like virtual reality that might even be able to help. Some people find that mindfulness strategies can be really helpful for learning to relax and calm, but many people have a hard time doing this. They just can't seem to get out of their current environment and all the everyday stresses and demands that they're faced with. But virtual reality can allow you to feel like you're in the woods or walking on a beach. It can make it easier to feel like you're escaping whatever you're faced with, even briefly, and take a few minutes to focus on who you are and what you feel and what you want to be. It might even be useful for people who experience a lot of social anxiety and find themselves avoiding social situations and isolating themselves. This can just end up worsening social anxiety over time. But virtual reality can give you a chance to practice interacting in a different way. Practice conversations, reading nonverbal cues, and building some skills that might be useful. Now, virtual reality isn't a panacea. It's not going to solve all your problems, but does seem to work as a bridge for people who are having a hard time facing their fears. In other words, a lot of times it can feel like you're either going to face a problem or avoid it. It can seem like there aren't really a whole lot of options in the middle. Virtual reality kind of offers an opportunity in the middle to say, well, I don't have to totally avoid this. I can fix this fear a little bit in a way that seems a lot safer and probably a lot more fun. If I can just do that and get a little bit better at it, then maybe it helps to build some confidence and a sense that tackling the ultimate problem is a little more manageable. In the end, we're all looking for ways to better handle the stress of everyday life. If you can use technology as more than just entertainment, but also as a way to feel better and have some more tools for facing the world, then it might be worth a shot. For more information on how to use virtual reality to improve mental health and for information on all sorts of other helpful topics, be sure to check out mindhub.studio. We got lots of free information on there, and if you're looking for more in-depth information, you can always subscribe to Mindhub Studio Plus. For $10 a month, you'll get access to all of our videos and will be able to message us if you've got more questions. And as always, thanks for watching.